Welcome to today's reading lesson, third graders. Today we are going to be talking and thinking about our text. So, what you're going to do is you are going to be choosing a nonfiction text to read today. Maybe you have a physical nonfiction book at home. If you don't, we've been using Epic, but I have something really cool to show you. So, this weekend I worked on putting together a virtual library shelf for you. I took and I found lots of different books about all different topics on all different reading levels, and I put them together in a virtual nonfiction library. Come take a look with me. So you have this on your lesson, and you will see all of these amazing books here on the bookshelf. When you go in present mode, you see all of the book titles and you can see really closely what all these books are called. You'll see the different reading levels there. So make sure you're searching on the shelf that is your Just Right reading level or within your book band. If you're not sure of what your reading level is or what book band you can shop in, ask your teacher and we will absolutely tell you so that way you know exactly what books are your Just Right books to be looking through. So you're going to choose a book that's on your Just Right reading level. So let's say my Just Right reading level is K to L. I think this cockroaches book sounds so interesting. So what I do is I click on that book and it opens up Epic for me. So Epic will load and you're right on the book. If you're on a computer and you need to log in, then you will. But all you'll do is you'll click Start Reading and you can log right into your Epic account and read this book on Epic. So much fun. So what you can do is you can just go back into your nonfiction text library here, choose whatever book interests you, and you're going to choose one of these books for today's reading lesson. So once you've chosen your book, you have to know what your task is. So we are going to be talking back to our text today, asking questions, thinking while we're reading. These are things that you've already been doing, third graders. You've been practicing it in class with us, and you have been doing an amazing job. So we're going to practice that today, and we're going to practice jotting while we're reading. We have done some practice with this, but we want to make sure we become experts at it. So if you have a physical book, or even if you're reading on Epic, one awesome tool to use to practice jotting are Post-its. You will see that very often in my books, I fill them with stickies. Right as I'm jotting, I just put the sticky right on that page. So that way, it's an easy way to find exactly where that part in the book is. If you're reading a digital book, all you have to do is write the page number on the sticky note instead of sticking it into the book because it's on your computer. So you just write it on the sticky note what page number you're on, and you'll know exactly where to find it if you pull that book back up on Epic. So what you'll do today is you'll choose your book and you're going to read for 25 minutes. We have upped your reading minutes this week, so you need to make sure no less than 25. So that means no more 20, not even 23. It has to be 25 or more minutes of reading. And during that time that you're reading, you're going to be jotting. You're going to be thinking back to your text, talking back to your text, and interacting with it. Just like you would be having a conversation in class if we were reading a book out loud. You're going to do that by yourself today. And you're going to use this document to help you. You will see all different sentence starters and sentence prompts over there that'll help you when you're jotting. Some examples of sentence starters you might use as you read your books are, I can picture how this goes. And then you'll continue the sentence. So I can picture how the lion will hunt its prey by doing this. So I'm going to continue on. I can picture how the butterfly changes, or how the caterpillar changes into a butterfly by the way they described the steps or the way they described the life cycle. So you're not just going to only use that sentence starter. You have to add on. You have to use information from your book to complete the sentence. The weird thing about this is maybe there's a really weird fact you learned and you want to talk about it and say what it makes you think about. Another one, this makes me think that. So this makes me think about this other book I read or about this other animal and how this other animal is very similar to this. But I wonder what would happen if the elephant was shorter. Or I wonder what would happen if the giraffe didn't have such a long neck. It's important to notice that. This reminds me of, you're probably asking, and I think perhaps an answer might be. So you can even say, as I was reading, I got thinking that why would they choose to do this? And perhaps it might be because of this. Like you can hypothesize and take guesses and make predictions when you're reading nonfiction. And the last one is, I used to think, but now I'm realizing. So you might be able to say that I used to think that sharks were the most vicious, deadly animal. But now I'm realizing from reading this book that, and then you could say which ones are more deadly. So you see how you're going to use these sentence starters to talk and think about your text, just like conversations we'd have with our teachers or we'd have in partner conversations. You're going to do that today and you're going to jot them down in this chart right here. So let me move my video so you can see the table here. So I have an example of a jot right here and there for you. It says, when reading my book, Computers, it made me think that my computer doesn't have wheels, the parts like wheels and cranks like the first computers did. And that's something that I saw on page 9 when it was talking here, and I had jotted it down while I was reading. I jotted it down on my sticky. And because it talks about how the machine would be 7 feet tall, weigh 5 tons, and it required wheels, gears, and cranks in order to work. So it made me think like, wow, computers have come really far. So you're going to read through, remember, for 25 minutes, read through your book, and you're going to take notes. You're going to jot things down. Now remember, don't just copy down exactly what it says in the book. You have to use those sentence starters and put them in your own words and talk to the text. This makes me think, or this is such a gross fact, or this is so weird, or this is so interesting. I never knew that. You're going to do 4 jots while you're reading. If you want to do more, you're more than welcome to do more. And you can always add another row into your table by clicking with 2 fingers. So a double click right in your table there, and you're going to click insert row below or insert row above, and that'll insert another row for you if you would like to do more than 4. But you have to do 4, and they need to be complete sentences. What does complete sentences mean? Oh, right. That means starting with capital letters, ending with punctuation, so periods. A lot of us have been forgetting to do that. Don't forget. So capitals, punctuation, full complete sentences, using those sentence starters that are right there in the document for you. And the last thing you need to do to prove that you've watched this whole entire video is there's another question at the bottom here. It says, which insect did Miss Foley say her book said they made a drone of? This was a fact that was so interesting to me. It was one that I jotted about, and I thought it was so incredible that I wanted to share with you. I never knew that there are some robots that can be made to look like or act like living creatures, like this drone bee. So interesting. Obviously, not all bees are drones, but they can make some drones that tiny. I thought that was so interesting. And it just was like, it jumped out at me on the page. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was talking back to the text. So you're going to type B into that bottom box there to prove you've watched this whole entire video from start to finish. So great job, 3rd graders. Let's remind ourselves we're going to read for 25 minutes today. Wow, you can do it. I know you can. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to that nonfiction reading shelf that is attached to this lesson. So many amazing books there. If you have a physical nonfiction book that you'd rather read instead, that is okay. But we really do recommend you reading one of these books today because they're on your Just Right reading levels. So choose from a book that's on your Just Right reading level. And I know there are some other books that the topics look so interesting, but if it's not in your text band, Please read one that is in your text ban, and you can always tell us if there is a certain book that you really wish or topic that you really wish would be added to your shelf to shop from. So have so much fun reading for 25 minutes and then come to your stop and jot, and you're going to do your 4 jots and answer that question at the bottom. Have fun, readers. Off you go.